Good day, everyone. Now, every day, we are surrounded by one the most greatest innovations that developed by mankind. It is electricity. All of us uses electricity in our daily life. We cannot imagine a life without it. A life without electricity is very hard. Our nights would become darker, with the exception of candles here, there, and everywhere. Thanks to electricity, our technology have been developed. So, without electricity, the technology would also be limited. We can have equipment and materials. Yes, it can work without electricity, with the use of gas and diesel turbines. But as a result of it, the air will become polluted. Now, electricity is all around us. But do we really know what is electricity? So today, I will explain to you what is electricity and its importance. To really understand what is electricity, we must first understand an atom. An atom is the smallest particle, and everything in the universe is made up of atoms. Just imagine of the smallest living animals, or an insect, an ants. If you think that ants is so small, then atoms is much smaller. Much smaller that in fact, one ant is made up of too many atoms to count, more than a billion. An atoms had capable of different parts, but the most important parts of an atom is the electrons. However, an atoms had a different numbers of electrons because an electrons can move from one atoms into another. And that movement of electrons is what we call now an electricity. So basically, electricity is a flow of electrons from one atom into another. And this flow is what we call current, or in Tagalog, we simply call it kurente. An electrons can move from one materials into another, but they can move better. If an electrons can move easily and quickly from one end to another, then that material is what we call a conductor. A conductor is a material that let the electrons flow from one end to another, and it also produces electricity. The best example of a conductor is copper, steel, metal, aluminum, water, and also human body. Human body is conductor, and that is why we are prone to electricity. So we must keep safe. Anyway, the opposite conductor is an insulator. An insulator is a material that does not let the electrons move, and it does not produce electricity. Just take a look of an electric wires. So usually, the electric wires, the cable wires, the inside is usually made up of copper. The inside is usually made up of copper, which serves as its conductor. This copper is a conductor in which it lets the electrons flow from one point to another, while its outside part is usually made up of rubber. This rubber serves as an insulator. An insulator does not let the electrons break on its pathways, and it helps us from being shocked. Without insulators, then we cannot hold the wires at all. Now, to harness the power of electricity, we must use both materials, the conductor and an insulator. To light our rooms or power appliances, we need to use the concept of electrical circuit. An electrical circuit is in which an electrons can flow in a circuit. Now, I will show you on how to use electrical circuit on a basic wiring. So first, we must have a power source, which is a male plug. But our male plug is equipped with circuit breaker. The circuit breakers will serve as our main switch of if in case of emergency happens. So we can turn it off and on immediately. So we must hold it carefully because the other side is on a hot wire, or it has already electricity flowing on. We also need an outlet for our power source. For power source, we can also use a battery for our DC lights, but today we are using AC. So we will be also using AC source or alternating current. Alternating current is much dangerous and powerful rather than DC. Now we will be also needing tools. So since this is just a simple or basic diagram, our tools is just minimum amount. First, we need combination pliers. Combination pliers is usually to hold, to cut, or to grate the wires or any other object. And this one is the brother of combination pliers. Its name is long nose pliers. It is used also to hold, but since it is long, it can hold in a distance. The next tools is Stanley star screw or Phillips screwdriver. It is used to loosen or tighten screws. This is very important, especially in every aspect of craftsmanship. Another is pin light. Pin light is used to locate or detect the hot wire or light wire. And we also need an electrical tape to serve as an insulator after the splicing. Now we have the source, the tools. We also need our light bulb. The light bulb will serve as our load because in a circuit, it cannot be completed without a load. A load is a materials that will consume the electricity because without a load, the circuit will cause a short circuit or in short, fireworks in your house. We will also be needing a receptacle to house this bulb and a junction box for safety purposes. We will be also needing a couple of wires to connect the materials to each other. And lastly, we will be needing a switch. This switch will serve as our controller to turn on and off our load or the bulb. Now, we will show you how to do it. First, we must not forget our safety. We need to use these gloves to protect our hands from being scratched. Both hands should be covered with gloves. Because at what I have said earlier, human body is also a conductor and we are prone to electricity. Then, we must also use, after we inserted or use the gloves, next we need to protect our eyes. This is to prevent us from the spark or any other fallen object or invisible object. Now, we will do the connections of the circuit. First, we will take a wire. First end will be connected to the source, but since we need a safety wiring, you must not connect it to the source directly. So we will connect it into the first point of the switch. We will use the combination pliers and the long nose pliers. I have already spliced. I have already peeled off the wires, so it will not much take time. We will splice the wires easily like rat pipe and the common splicing tools. Use the long nose to hold the both wires and then twist it together with the combination touch. Splicing is very important. After you splice the wire, you must cut it so that it will not break the electrodes. Then the other end of the wires coming from the switch will be connected to the receptacle or to the light bulb. We will do the same process as what we have done lately. Since this wiring doesn't have a power yet, we can safely hold it with our bare hands. But we must first ensure if it has electricity flowing or it doesn't. Now, we already have secured the terminal of the switch. The other terminal of the bulb will be connected to the other terminal coming from the source. That's why it is called circuit, because the electrons flow from the source itself to the switch, to the bulb, and to the source again, vice versa. Now lastly, we will connect it. Slowly but surely. Okay, so this will now do. We must cut it. After securing the splice and cutting so that it will not be too long, we will now cover it using the electrical tape. There are too many tapes, but electrical tape is so specific because of its electrical, so it is usually used in electricity. Because electrical tape can withstand moistures, hot and or cold conditions. We must cover the splicing with electrical tape so it will not cause damage. We will cover all the splices. And now we are done. We will now insert our load or the bulb because this is necessary. This outlet will serve as our power source. To check it, we need to use a pen tester if there is an electricity flowing or doesn't. As we can see, the pen tester did not light, meaning doesn't have an electricity yet. So before that, we will now insert the source. We will need to locate first the live or the live and the neutral. We will turn on the emergency breaker. Then we will locate the live using the tester. So as you can see, the pen tester lights. It means this lane here is the live wire or the hot wire, while the opposite side is the neutral. We will turn it off again so that we can connect our wires. Now, we are done connecting our source. We need to on now our circuit breaker and turn on the switch. So it is done. As simple electricity wiring.